This is my latest eBay toy that just arrived today. It's my first ever reel-to-reel recorder. It is an Akai GX-210D. Now, I'm not exactly sure when these were made, probably around the 1970s or so. I got this one restored, it's had all its capacitors and belts replaced and everything, and yeah, I've already been testing it out. And I've been messing around with it before obviously wanted to make the video about it. I had a bit of trouble threading the tape because it has to come around through the tension right there, then across the heads, and then against the capstan, and then the thing for it has an auto stop feature where when the tape rewinds, gets all the way to the end, it'll put the pause control in, and then it'll stop it obviously rewinding. Let's just go over some of the controls and that. And also had a bit of a problem as well, is that this cheap plastic take-up reel has been causing a bit of problems. I'll demonstrate that when I get the unit going. I'll probably get a metal reel to take up reel to replace that. So obviously the main controls we have down here, we have the play, we do that, and then there's the record safety switch, because you need to push that in while turning this to actually start recording. We have a rewind, fast forward, pause control, and a switch to start going again. We have the power switch, headphone jack, a monitor between the tape and the source, because this, like most other reel-to-reel decks, is a 3-head, which means you can monitor the tape as it's being recorded. So obviously when you have whatever audio source you're feeding into it will be on source, and if you want to hear how the tape's sounding, because obviously it's going across the record head, then the playback head, you switch to that, and then obviously you can hear if it's making a good copy on the tape. We have the right recording level, the left recording level, the 2 VU meters, which are actually obsolete now. Like old audio recording equipment had, it's like a little thing that jumps back and forth with the levels. But obviously, on like modern tape decks and stuff, they have like digital level meters. Here we have the tape type, with normal and SRT, because there are different tape formulations. Normal tape and low noise is SRT, I believe. We have the tape speed selector. With the recording speed of the tape, if you're recording at a slower speed, which is a 3 3/4, you will have twice as much record time, but at a cost of the quality. But if you obviously run the tape at a higher speed, you'll get better quality audio, but obviously less recording time. And we have left and right microphone inputs. And now this is actually quite special for a reel-to-reel, because it's an auto reverse. There's the 2 little buttons here. So obviously once the take-up reel goes away, the supply reel, it'll obviously start playing the other tracks back without having to swap the reels around, which is quite a fiddly process, as I found out before I started recording, of how tricky it can be to get this thing threaded up. So and this thing's a bit weird. This is the the supply take-up reel. This one's causing a few things. I don't know whether it just needs oiling or something, but it sort of affects it during fast forward and rewind, which I'll show later. Obviously, I don't know if I can get an angle of that, but the 2 tape heads are under there. I don't know if you saw anything there, but they look like tape heads on a cassette deck, normal cassette deck, but obviously they're bigger because this uses tape that is twice the width of compact cassette tape. And obviously, and like a common compact cassette tape, we have the capstan and pinch roller, the tape lifter, which prevents the tape from rubbing against the capstan when you're fast forwarding or rewinding. As I said, the trigger for the auto stop, and obviously the tape winds onto the thing. And now, when I got this, it came with the original owner's manual, which I've been reading on on how it works. And all that. I haven't made any recordings yet because I haven't got any blank tapes, but when I got this, it did come with obviously a take-up reel, which says it's a cheap plastic. It doesn't really, not as good as the big metal reel, which I'll probably be replacing this with in the future. Now, when I first got this, I had a bit of problems with the reels coming off, they're actually sliding off, because on this there's the things to keep the reels in place so they don't slide off. Because when I was fast forwarding and rewinding, the tape would unspool. The tape would unspool when I was fast forwarding. Obviously they weren't down, but there's these actually little peg things here that you have to pull it out and then make it so that it's not in line with thing to attach the reel on. But as I said, this is my first experience with reel-to-reel, so that was fun to figure out, I guess. Now let's just take a look at the back of the unit. And here's a look at the back of the unit. This thing weighs a frigging ton, by the way. It weighs over 15 kilos. So yeah, it's an absolute tank. These Akai things are built to last, that's what I'll say. We have our line in and line out jacks here. Obviously I have the RCAs out for obviously when playing it. Obviously we're recording, so I should put it in the line ins. Not sure what that jack in the middle is. Maybe a DIN jack or something, because this is a European model, and voltage selected for 50 and 60 Hertz. So obviously if you're in Europe like I am, you'd have it on 50 Hertz. If you're in America, you'd have it on 60 Hertz. And just permanently attached a power cord. So that's a look at the back of the unit. Now let's see this thing in action. Oh, and this also came with a European style plug, so I had to use obviously a 3-pin adapter to make it to the UK plug, which is where I am. So let's see this thing in action. Power it on. See the light lines up in the VU meters. You can see the capstan is already spinning. The capstan always spins when the unit's turned on. And now let's hear this bad boy play. Oops, that was unexpected. Yeah, has a bit of thing where it doesn't always have to get going. Doesn't always get going straight away. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? And it actually triggered the auto stop thing, so it put it in pause. So let's see if it plays this time. So there we go, we got the pause off. There we go, I had it on the wrong speed setting there. Now here it is going. And you can hear this tape's loaded with classical music now, and here it's playing the forward direction. It's going down there and then between there and... When I was playing this, before I realised how to attach the things on, it kept coming off all the time, so this is pause. Just push this up, and then once you press start again to start again. And now here's the auto reverse. VU meters. Now let's show fast forward and rewind. Now, also, this machine has 3 motors, so when it fast forwards and rewinds, you can see it goes pretty fast. It goes even faster if I pull this thing off. Now let's show rewind. It spins really fast when it goes. Though sometimes there is a bit of an issue where towards the middle of the tape, sometimes when you do the fast forward it'll be stuck, so you have to give it a bit of a help and maybe pull this thing back to go. See if I can show that. See, yeah, now I have to, it's in fast forward, but I have to give it a bit of help and pull this thing off. And there we go, it has no problem. If anyone happens to know what's causing that, you know, leave a comment, because when I got this on eBay, this is supposed to be like servers. It's supposed to have like, it's like it's supposed to have all its like mechanism, like, you know, relubricated and has all the belts replaced, or maybe it's just these cheap plastic reels that are maybe, I don't know, there may be a bit of friction between them. It's like where it's, you know, rubbing against it, so all of a sudden the motor can't get up to speed like straight away. But you know, it only happens sometimes though, and also it depends on how full and empty your reels are. Like when this reel was almost on that, because on that one, because I only just started playing. I had no problem, but obviously depending on how full and empty the reels are, it may just be the nature of it, or maybe it's just a really old machine. But yeah, that's just been a brief look at my latest eBay toy. It's an Akai GX-210D auto reverse reel-to-reel deck. And I'll just close out the video just by playing a bit more music on it. I'm pretty sure it's all copyright free, it's just classical music recordings. And yeah, thanks for watching.